The Holy Grail is here in India. I'm Rupha Ramani and Firstpost brings you the ringside view. We bring you the Cup of Dreams. Cricket World Cup coverage like never before.
The champion!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Well, if you haven't guessed where I am just yet, let me show you how I'm starting my day. There's dhokla, which is chickpea flour. There's the very sugary sweet jalebi. And the very fried, delectable fafda. Yes, you guessed it, I'm in Ahmedabad here and it's a very special Firstpost episode. Now, it promises to be a fiery weekend with India versus Pakistan. So let's start the show. Sport is all about rivalries. It's about the best taking on the best. It's about the greats in the very sport, living through that legacy, the history of the contest and passing it on to the next generation. And we're here now in Ahmedabad to preview that scintillating India versus Pakistan clash. Fresh set of faces, but the rivalry is the very same. So on this very special episode from Ahmedabad at Firstpost, we bring you all the different aspects and facets of that rivalry in this city. Let's show you what's lined up in our show. We take you to where local boy Jasprit Bumrah took his first steps in cricket, the school and some of the memories that's associated with his humble beginnings to where he has come today. India versus Pakistan, of course, the preview to the massive clash here over the weekend. We bring you all the latest from the teams. What have they been up to during the practice sessions? And of course, Murali Kartik joins us in a special preview. The rivalry is also so much about the history that these two teams share. What are the different moments that have captured over the past in all of their many encounters? The different tales that we even remember till now and live to tell and pass on. We show you and take you down memory lane. Let's tell you what's making all the headlines from the world of sports in Sports 360. The IOC has banned the Russian Olympic Committee effective immediately. The move follows ROC's decision to recognize Olympic councils from 4 annexed Ukrainian territories as its own members. These regions include Luhansk, Donetsk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia. These regional organizations are controlled by the National Olympic Committee of Ukraine. In tennis, Rohan Bopanna and Matthew Ebden are through to the semi-final of the Shanghai Masters. The fourth-seeded pair defeated Jean-Julien Rohit and Marcelo Arivalo 6-4, 6-2 in the quarterfinals. Ebden and Bopanna will next face a French duo, Sadio Doumbia and Fabien Raboul, tomorrow. And in football, Morocco's women's national team has appointed Spain's former coach, Jorge Vilda, as the new manager. Spain had won the FIFA Women's World Cup in August under Vilda. He was sacked 10 days after FIFA suspended Spain's football chief Luis Rubiales for kissing a player without consent. Vilda also came under fire for applauding Rubiales during a meeting in which he refused to resign. Let's also tell you what are the top stories from the Cricket World Cup in our Cup of Dreams segment. Australia's woeful World Cup campaign continues as they suffer another loss. South Africa beat Australia by 134 runs last night. The Proteas batted first, scoring 311 runs. Quinton de Kock scored a century to help South Africa put up a steep total. Meanwhile, the Australian camp has raised an issue with the ICC over the match last night. This after Marcus Stoinis was given out in a DRS review. The review showed the ball hitting Stoinis' glove before being caught behind by South Africa's wicketkeeper from one particular angle. However, Australia said that Stoinis' hand that nicked the ball was not in contact with the bat as he had let go of the bat's grip. And Pakistan presenter Zainab Abbas has issued an apology for her social media posts. Abbas says she did not mean to hurt anybody's religious sentiments. Earlier this week, the Pakistani presenter left India for personal reasons. This was after an Indian national filed a complaint against Abbas for her comments on a religious group in India. And in the best possible news for the Indian cricket team, Shubman Gill was seen training with the rest of the squad. Captain Rohit Sharma says he's almost fit and available for selection. Now, it's the clash that almost everyone is waiting for with bated breath here at the Cricket World Cup. It's number 2 versus the number 3 placed teams at the points table so far. It's India versus Pakistan. Let's set this exciting encounter up for you then, shall we? Let's look at India first. And they started their tournament with a come-from-behind win against Australia. That really set the pace for the side, because then they went on to register a clinical win against Afghanistan. Captain Rohit Sharma leading from the front, Jasprit Bumrah putting in a key performance as well. Let's look at Pakistan. Now that team also is coming on the back of 2 wins. They started warmly against Netherlands, but then picked up the pace and put in a charged up performance against fellow subcontinent nations, Sri Lanka. Mohammad Rizwan and Shafiq putting in brilliant centuries. Their skipper, Captain Babar Azam, is yet to sort of hit the stride, but probably this could be it then. If you look at the face-offs that they've had, the head-to-heads that they've had in ODI World Cups alone, India has always had the upper hand. So that's something that is possibly somewhere at the back of their minds too. To preview this clash, I spoke to former India cricketer and commentator Murali Kartik to throw some light on what could be the interesting mini battles, what to expect in this matchup. Let's listen in. All right, we're joined with someone who's obviously been around for so long. He's been a prolific cricketer on the field and an amazing voice of Indian cricket, not just Indian cricket, world cricket. He's been a commentator as well. And I'm so privileged and honored to be joined by someone who's also gone along to be a bit of a friend as well. Murali Kartik, thank you so much for coming on to our show here, or to Firstpost. It's something new that we've started. I'm so happy to have you here with us.
Thanks a lot for having me, Rupha, firstly. And thanks for the introduction.
All right, let's kickstart with the main reason why we are here and why we are talking cricket today, and it is the clash that probably not just Indian cricket fans, but cricket fans the world over are looking forward to, India versus Pakistan. What's it about this rivalry that still gets them so peaked?
Yeah, it is the mother of all battles, isn't it? And one of the reasons why I suppose it has got that kind of fame or reputation is the history which is attached to it. Obviously, there's a lot going on around. It's not just a cricket match alone. It's the emotions of people from both sides. And you're talking about the Indians who are around the world. It's about the Pakistanis who are around the world. The history and the tradition which it has carried for such a long time. So there is a lot of baggage there. So and for those reasons, you have a battle or a cricket match which reaches other proportions. And I suppose when teams meet infrequently, then that also adds to the flavor. If you're eating it every day, if you're having a jalebi and a sandwich every day, you lose the flavor for it. But because people don't get to see an India-Pakistan game, that also adds to the masala.
Now, you've been part of such contests yourself. What is it that sets this one apart from any other encounter, apart from what you say, the history, of course, but what sets this apart?
I suppose it's the World Cup, isn't it? It's a World Cup, and with India boasting or having all the bragging rights, saying that, oh, we have been 7-0 up. I think that adds to the flavor. And also because it's going to be on Indian soil, there were a lot of hoopla around it. Oh, Pakistan saying we are not going to come, and all that drama around Asia Cup. And so it adds to that. Yes, they did meet in the Asia Cup, which India did well. But I suppose happening in India, not sharing any World Cup with anybody, all the games happening in India, and again an India-Pakistan game with all that is happening around you, the frills, the world of social media adds to it. So everything adds up to the masala.
Now let's get down to, of course, a little more details and get down to the nitty-gritty, as we say. We have to speak about Pakistan first. You know, you can't put a side like this aside, can you? The way they play.
No, not at all. We always say they are mercurial. I suppose when it comes to India, they have their own emotions attached as well. And at the end of the day, any side, look, both sides are very good. Obviously, India, the squad that they've picked, it's a strong squad. And also coming into the tournament, every batter has got runs. Everybody's averaging more than 40. All the bowlers have been bowling well. Imagine someone like Mohammad Shami, who just got a fifer on a flat wicket, doesn't get a game. And he's sitting out. Now Ashwin has to sit out. So you just look at the 15 and it's a strong 15. Someone like Shubman Gill has to walk into this side now. Hopefully he's fit soon. And for Pakistan as well, they've got lots of match winners. You've got a Shaheen Shah Afridi, Hassan Ali has been brought in, he took 4 wickets. Mohammad Rizwan and Babar Azam are 2 gun players. So Fakhar Zaman has done well against us. So there are lots of players who will be itching to have a go at one another. Obviously there is a lot of built up or pent up tension which you have coming into the game, but once the first ball is delivered or once the match starts, then everything settles down. So it's a lot of what should I say, matchups to look forward to as well. You think of the spinners versus the middle order, like Mohammad Rizwan. They used to open before, now they are both in the middle order. So Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan coping against the spinners, Bumrah against the new ball, Shaheen Shah against our Indian batters. So a lot of matchups there.
All right, let's then speak about a couple of them in detail. One is, of course, you have Jasprit Bumrah coming off a really good spell against Afghanistan recently, and he's going to be playing at a home crowd. I mean, every venue is home pretty much, but Ahmedabad, he said he's never played a one-day there. It's the first time. Him against, against the top order, against the Pakistan top order. How do you see that panning out?
Yeah, he would relish it, because you look at what he can do against a left-hander. He troubled a left-hander, so you've got Imamul Haq in front of him. And in general, Bumrah against any batter, the batter is going to have I wouldn't say sleepless nights. He's going to have nights where he is going to be thinking what you need to do to counter someone like Jasprit Bumrah. Yeah. So obviously he's going to be a handful. He's such an all-round bowler, and I'll always say this: he's one bowler you can take him to any wicket or any place, and within a few deliveries he knows what is the right length to be bowled on that surface. So someone like him, he'll be itching to bowl and relishing that prospect or challenge of being in Ahmedabad and bowling to the Pakistani openers. And why that? He can bowl in the middle overs, he can bowl in the end overs. You know how good he is in the depth. So he's an all-round package as a bowler when it comes to India's fortunes.
If we look at the other way around also, you've got Rohit after a scintillating knock, coming in red hot form, looking really good, the best version possible, and he does this at World Cups. And then you have someone like Shaheen at the other end. How do you see that battle planning out?
Look, that is going to be interesting, because India against left-arm seamers, traditionally there's been an issue. Yeah. But again, that was the same when they played them in Asia Cup, and they came up on top of Shaheen Shah Afridi, but that doesn't mean anything. It's a brand new day, it's a brand new surface, it's a brand new situation, and sometimes it's the stage which gets the better of you. Sometimes the players are the same, but it's the stage which adds to the pressure, and pressure makes you do funny things. So at the end of the day, on that given day, who wins the big moments, who's able to bottle it under pressure cooker situations, I think those guys are going to do well, and that is the team which is going to come up trumps.
Last battle that I really want to sort of get your thoughts on, and of course it has to come from you. You have someone like Rizwan, again, such a cheeky sort of a player, and then you have, of course, the spinners who are filled with guile, and you'd know that as well as anyone else. Who has impressed you more when it comes to these two, and who will get on top of this face-off?
Look, again, crystal ball gazing has never been my forte.
Agreed.
But I would say that Kuldeep Yadav, the way he's handling himself, the way he's bowled in the last few months, his control over whatever he wants to do, I think it's been pretty impressive. So he would actually, he's buoyed by that confidence. So you can see that the way he's bowling, and his body language is quite confident as well. Ravindra Jadeja is always there and thereabouts. He's again a far improved version of himself, because he's constantly working on his game. He's bowled a lot of overspin, getting a lot of bounce, and the way he's bowled in the last 2 games has been pretty impressive. You use the right word, cheeky, because keepers are generally cheeky. And Mohammad Rizwan, again, he also would enjoy playing against India, because he's done well against us. And also coming off 100, lots of, as they say, success begets success, confidence begets confidence. So he's going to be a handful as well. So Babar Azam, technically correct, coming off 2 failures. So he would be thinking, India is my game, I'm the captain. So lots of things to look forward to.
All right, so I'm going to put you on a spot. I know you don't like this, but which way do you see this going?
Look, if you look at the teams on paper, obviously the paper is one-sided. It's lopsided because India is quite strong. You can't pick any frailty, so to say. The middle order has done well. You've got the likes of Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja batting later on. It'll be interesting to see what is the bowling combination they go with, because the first game it was Ashwin, then it was Shardul Thakur, with the conditions in Ahmedabad and what Mohammad Shami has done. You've seen him up close and personal. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with. Will they go for a Shami, or do they bring back someone like Ashwin, or do they stick with Shardul? Paper-wise, India is strong, but again, what can happen on a given day? Who wakes up from the right side of the bed? Does the team collectively wake up from the right side of the bed? That'll be seen.
Yeah, and we of course are looking forward to a cracker for context.
Absolutely.
Kartik, thank you so much for joining in. It's
Thank you,
always a
Rupha.
pleasure talking cricket with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now in Chennai, we spoke of a comeback story of a local boy returning to his home city to play in front of his fans at the very ground that he grew up on, that he played every cricket on. Now here too in Ahmedabad, there's a sensational comeback story. That of one of the best speedsters India's ever produced. Jasprit Bumrah took his very first steps into international cricket, or cricket itself, right here where I'm standing at the Nirman High School. This is where it all started for him. Now we know that roots is where your true strength lies. It couldn't hold more true for Jasprit Bumrah. At the post-match press conference after India beat Afghanistan, I asked him what it truly meant for him to come back to the city to play his very first one-day international. And he said he couldn't be more excited. But first he had to go meet his mother before he could even think of practice and the match itself. The last 1 year was difficult for him. It was a struggle. And it would be if you were coming out of a career-threatening back injury. You always look to your roots for that strength, for that support. Sure, he spent many months at the National Cricket Academy in Bengaluru, recovering, recuperating. But then he came here to the city, played here, trained here before he hit the ground running once more and found his true strength, like we've seen at the World Cup so far. Now the hallways here, the classrooms, the stadiums here, the grounds here bear memories of what Jasprit Bumrah means to not just the school or this area, but the city as well. There are pictures, there are posters, all that are adorning these very hallways here that truly tell the story of Jasprit, a boy who grew up in struggles. It isn't easy when at 7 you lose your father and then you have to work through all of the hardships from there. That's what happened with Jasprit. After he lost his father, he had to rely on this school, on his close friends, on his family as refuge, on the sport itself to pull him out to where he now stands as one of the best bowlers in the world. So these pictures, these newspaper clippings, these posters of Jasprit Bumrah is not just a reminder of what he's achieved. It's to tell us all where his humble beginnings truly are, where it all started for him, and proves to be an inspiration to any little kid here, girl or boy, walking down these hallways to try and dream big and follow in Jasprit's footsteps. Now you know you're in Ahmedabad because you're standing at the biggest stadium in the world. I'm privileged, I'm honored to be at the Narendra Modi Stadium here, which is getting decked up and ready. For what? Well, you know it's an India-Pakistan encounter because I'm surrounded here everywhere by so many cops, all the police surrounding to make this secure. And that's when you know it's an India-Pakistan face-off waiting to happen. A face-off and a rivalry that has been special, has been epic. We've seen so many moments and important incidents over the years. So let's take you down memory lane to relive some of those colorful characters, those incidents that makes this rivalry so much more exciting and special. Take a look.
When it comes to cricket, there are some rivalries that transcend milestones, records, or individual glory. There's the Ashes, a contest between Australia and England that has only become more fierce with time. But the largest cricketing rivalry is undisputedly in South Asia. We're talking about India and Pakistan, because when these two teams play, almost 2 billion people come alive. Cricket as a sport runs in the blood of Indians and Pakistanis. Despite political differences between the two nations, India and Pakistan often find themselves on the cricket pitch. Pakistan have never beaten India in a 50-over World Cup match. And this year, we don't expect anything less than fireworks. As the two teams get ready to face each other again, we want to take you down memory lane to highlight some of the most epic moments that brought this well-chronicled contest to life. Let's take you back in time. India versus Pakistan, 1992. Australia and New Zealand are co-hosting the 50-over Cricket World Cup. A match that started off as a fierce battle gave the world one of the most hilarious antics in cricket. India were bowled out for 217. In response, Pakistan's top batters had collapsed. Middle order batter Javed Miandad was at the crease, and India had managed to keep him quiet. He was struggling to score runs and getting frustrated by the minute. In the 25th over, coming in to bowl is Sachin Tendulkar. Tendulkar's delivery struck Miandad's pads, prompting a loud appeal from Indian wicketkeeper Kiran More, one of the chirpiest behind the wicket those days. Miandad thought it was an incredulous appeal and exchanged verbal blows with More. In the next ball, Miandad tried to steal a single, but had to rush back to his crease as the fielder quickly threw the ball back to the keeper. And with some anger and exasperation, Miandad jumped thrice in the air, a sight that left everyone laughing. Four years later, India vs Pakistan 1996. This time the World Cup was being co-hosted by India, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. But what happened during the India-Pakistan game became one of the most memorable moments of cricketing rivalry. India batted first and set a target of 288. During their chase, Pakistan got off to a flying start. Openers Amir Sohail and Saeed Anwar added 84 runs for the first wicket. Then Anwar got out. Sohail stayed at the crease and continued his onslaught. He charged down the track and smashed a cracking shot to complete his half-century. Sohail looked at the Indian bowler Venkatesh Prasad and pointed his bat towards the ropes, an indication that he would hit the pacer for another boundary. On the very next ball, Prasad came steaming in and pitched one right up. Sohail swung and missed. The delivery knocked down the off stump. Prasad had given a fitting reply to Sohail, and the crowd absolutely loved it, a moment that's etched in the annals of the sport. In 2003, the World Cup was jointly hosted by South Africa, Zimbabwe and Kenya, and cricket fans were in for a batting masterclass. Pakistan chose to bat first and set a target of 274. India were off to a brisk start, thanks to openers Virendra Sehwag and Sachin Tendulkar. They scored 53 runs in the first 5 overs. The responsibility to shepherd the chase was Tendulkar's, and he delivered a batting masterclass that wows fans even today. Tendulkar displayed his batting class with some of the most technical cover drives. But one shot is still alive in every Tendulkar fan, the famous uppercut. Pakistan fast bowler Shoaib Akhtar came charging down. Akhtar slung a fast ball that reached almost 150 km per hour. A ball like that would be unplayable for any batsman. But Tendulkar was no ordinary one. The little master flicked his wrist and hit the ball for a 6. A furious Akhtar bowled the next ball even faster, and Tendulkar casually tucked it away from his pad for 4 runs. In the very next ball, Tendulkar used Akhtar's speed to give the ball a gentle push and hit another boundary. The rest was history. Pakistani fielders were chasing the ball down every part of the field, as Tendulkar went on to score 98 runs off just 75 balls. India chased down the target to win the match by 6 wickets, and the world witnessed the batting prowess of Sachin Tendulkar. India vs Pakistan 2015. Australia and New Zealand co-hosted the 2015 World Cup. India won the toss and elected to bat first. After the first Indian opener fell, the pillar of Indian batting, Virat Kohli, took charge. He smashed Pakistani bowlers all around the ground. Kohli hammered 107 runs in his knock before getting out. He became the first Indian to score a century against Pakistan in a World Cup event. Kohli's batting helped India put up a score of 300 runs on the board. Pakistan fell short in their run chase. They were bowled out for 224, a massive 76-run victory for India. And Indian batter Virat Kohli had a lot to do with it, justifying his nickname King Kohli. These are just some of the memorable moments. There's a lot more to come, and this year's World Cup looks like it's going to be a promising one.
We've come to the close of our show here, this very special Firstpost edition from Ahmedabad. But before we go, we always leave you with a little something. We call this the last serve. Now the Cricket World Cup is here, as you know, and just about everyone involved is soaking in the atmosphere, just getting into it, including the Netherlands cricket team. Well, as they say, win or lose, you got to keep the spirit up. That does it here for us on this very special episode of Firstpost from Ahmedabad. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast as much as we did bringing it to you. So for now, bye-bye. Keep following us, of course, for all the latest from the world of sports and, of course, our Cup of Dreams coverage of the Cricket World Cup.